Hi, I'm Maggie Kipley, and today I'll be talking to you about the Southwest Flight 1380 that had an incident that ended up in one death of a passenger. So the flight took off on April 17th, headed from New York to Dallas, and mid-flight there was a fan blade that had came off of the jet engine on the side, on the wing, and it was dislodged and ended up hitting one of the windows. The window was then cracked and blown out, and a passenger was sucked halfway out of it, and from her torso up, she was out of the plane. Other passengers helped to get her back in, and she was able to survive for the time being. Once the plane landed, she did end up dying later on. There were others that were injured, but she had the most fatal accident. So there was communication via both of the companies that were involved in this, Southwest Airlines and CFM International, who was the manufacturer of the engine. So Southwest utilized mortification and compensation. And so the CEO of Southwest, Gary Kelly, released a video apologizing and giving his condolences hours after this incident happened. They also offered all the passengers of the flight a $5,000 check to cover immediate financial needs, and they also gave all the passengers a $1,000 travel voucher for Southwest. And that was the compensation that they were trying to give the customers to renew their loyalty, essentially. And then CFM International used good intentions and corrective actions, so they didn't mean to have anything happen with any of their equipment to cause people to be injured. And they also started to investigate how their inspections were being done in manufacturing, and then also after manufacturing, once the engines were being used, how frequent they were being inspected and stuff like that. And also the technology that was used for inspections. So there's three different stages of crisis communication. The first is pre-crisis stage, the crisis stage, and the post-crisis stage. And during the pre-crisis stage is where you need to make your protocols and procedures so when a crisis does occur, you are able to respond appropriately and fast. The crisis stage is when the crisis actually occurs, and that is when you need to be quick, accurate, and concise with your decisions and going with what you feel is necessary at that time. The final stage is the post-crisis stage, and this is going to be after everything has occurred, the crisis already occurred, and it's over, and now you're during the investigations and stuff like that after. And this is also how you can recover your brand or your company back to how it was prior to the incident occurring. And this is where you can look at your lessons learned and go back to your pre-crisis stage in order to change your protocols and your policies to help you in the future when something else does happen. So overall, both companies had good communication, and they did have a hit immediately following the crisis, but then were able to recover. The Southwest said to have $100 million that they lost in revenue after this occurrence or after this incident, and they were down for a few months, and then they slowly were able to recover with their increase in sales and revenue. And CFM is a very well-known company for jet engines. They are the most common jet engine for civilian and military aircraft, and so they did have a strain after this incident due to a loss in security with the company, and then also increase in testing to figure out what they needed to actually do. But both companies were able to recover after the incident happened and were able to continue on as large companies today. So I'm in the military. I'm actually currently deployed, and so I do use crisis communication often. Being deployed, there's always a chance that a crisis could occur, and so we have to go through training about monthly to be able to know how to respond if a crisis does occur, whether that's a mass cal, because I work at a hospital, or if something else happens with another soldier here. We have to be able to respond to it and be able to implement all the protocols that have been put into place. And so the lessons learned is that you need to always have a plan. That's why the pre-crisis stage is important, to be able to have your protocols and your plans set and ready to go, and just be ready for anything that can happen. Thank you.